Hey, how's it going? Today on Mr. Lucky's Workshop, we're going to be waterproofing a tent. And I'm going to take the opportunity to just give a rundown how to set up a tent. Then we're going to waterproof it, and that's really the bulk of the video. And then how to break down a tent, how to break it down, how to fold it correctly to get it back into, whatever kind of case it came out of. We're going to be using Kiwi Camp Dry. I've never used it. Looked at some reviews, and this is consistently one of the top rated tent waterproofing products. When I look at reviews, when I'm researching something, I'll look at 10 different reviews. A lot of reviews are paid reviews and will skew towards whoever's the sponsor, whoever's paying for the review. So best practice is look at a lot of reviews and kind of sift out which one product is consistently, in the top 5, in the top 10. And this pretty consistently was one of the top rated tent waterproofing products. So we're going to be here in my yard. We're not out in the woods. We're going to be doing this today, and let's get to it. So once you have a site picked out, you're camping, first thing to do is you put down a tarp, right? A waterproof tarp. If you're new to camping, I'm not an expert camper. I'm not an Eagle Scout. I, wasn't in the military. So, my outdoor skills I learned. I was a Boy Scout. Did a lot of camping when I was younger. Camping as an adult. Choosing a campsite. Pretty important thing. Find a place that's nice and flat. You don't want to be out in the open area. You want a little bit of shelter. Be careful when you choose an opening. If you do find a nice flat open space, make sure you're not on a game trail. I just had a friend tell me a story about when he was younger. They were camping, found a nice kind of open spot. It happened to be a game trail, and during the middle of the night, their tent was run over basically by a large deer that was running down the game trail. You can imagine, middle of the night, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, a massive deer crashing into your tent while you're sound asleep. That could be not the best situation. So just, find a nice flat spot. Make sure you're not on a game trail. Make sure you've got some shelter. Like I said, we're going to be in my yard here. So I'm pretty sure there's no wild game running through here during the night. Put down the tarp, get a tarp big enough that your whole tent will sit on top of the tarp. So we'll put down the tarp, and then we'll get the tent going, and then we'll get the waterproofing going. Now this tarp is pretty big, so once we get the tent laid out, we'll fold the tarp so that it's not sticking out that much underneath the from underneath the tent. So once you get your tent to the site, what I like to do is I'll take the tent out itself, I'll roll out the tent, and then I will take all of the poles, right, whether it's shot cord poles or aluminum poles or however your tent is made, get those all extended out first and kind of lay them out so that when you're putting it together, you're not putting them together one at a time. You kind of can see all the pieces that you have and follow the instructions on where they go. If it is your first time putting together the tent, when you take it out of its packaging, kind of make a mental note of how it was folded up, and right, it's going to help you a lot when you break it down and you're trying to get it back into the bag. I've been on a lot of camping trips where people are just flailing. They're stuffing this thing in, and there's no way it's going to go back. And so, especially if the weather's bad or you got to break camp real quick, right? If you do it right the right way, make it a lot easier for yourself in the end. Okay, so our tent's all laid out and chosen the site, fits the tarp pretty well. We have the tent, and then we have the rain fly. All the other stuff, this tent comes with little shelves that clip on the inside, and mats, and a doormat on the outside. So we're going to proceed to put it together. So now we've got the tent all laid out. We got our site picked out, tarps down, all the poles are ready, got everything laid out. I've got the rain fly on the side. The rest of the parts are stakes and shelves and stuff that go on the inside. Tip: when you get a tent, take the instructions and laminate them if they don't already come laminated. Usually they're just on a piece of paper. If the tent itself doesn't come with a pocket for the instructions, do yourself a favor and laminate them and keep them with the tent, especially if it's raining, you got bad weather, because you'll forget how to put together your tent. Coffee break. Very important when you're camping. It may go without saying, a lot of people probably know this, but maybe people don't. When you're putting in a stake, right? You want the stake to be at an angle towards the center of the tent, right? You want this part to be facing away from the tent, the open end, right? You want your loop, your hook, or whatever this way, right? You don't want it straight up and down, because big winds come, whatever. You don't want that thing to come loose. You want to use as much of the earth as possible. So the next step, before I get onto the waterproofing, the next step would be to put on the rain fly. This tent has a separate rain fly, and the guy lines are attached to the rain fly. We'll get to that later, because the rain fly does cover a significant portion of the fabric of the tent. So I want to get that water sealed, and then we will, when that's done, we'll get the rain fly on and we'll water seal that. Okay, so now we're ready to make sure there's no debris on the tent. Follow the instructions on the Kiwi Camp Dry. I'm like painting anything. I'm gonna start at the top and work my way down. For the window shades, the zip window shades, I'm gonna do those from the inside, right? Because you have to fold them down, squirt the outside, and then put them up and let them dry. All right, can number 2, coffee number, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 10. I drink a lot of coffee. Okay, so the outside's done. There's still most of this third can left. I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna go do the insides. There we go. So like I said, vapor mask, yes. Okay, so the outside's done. The window flies are done, and I just did a real quick reseal of all of the seams from the inside. That's where the water is going to come in first. So while putting the tent together, I noticed that one of the poles has split. Right, you can see it right here where the pole has split. You know, it's not going to fail. You can see it's got a pretty good bend to it. Gone unchecked, right? It may fail, and that's the last thing you want when you're camping. What I'm going to do is in a separate video. So look down, right? Go to Mr. Lucky's workshop, and I'm going to have a real quick video on how to, if something like this happens and you're out, you're camping, you're away, a split tent pole or something like that, how to repair it reliably and temporarily until you can get proper repair or replacement done. Okay, so it's been 4 hours. Everything's nice and dry. I'm gonna put on the Rainfly and we're gonna get to that. All right, so now we're going to attach the guidelines. I like to keep them at 45 degrees. I want to go out 4 or 5 feet. The more space you have, the better. You want to put them out. A lot of times you're in a campsite and there might be a restricted space or a lot of little kids running around. People keep them closer, but don't put them right next to the tent. You want it 3, 4, 5 feet out from the corner of the tent. So there's the Rainfly is on, the guy wires are down, and you can see when adjusting the guy wires, grab it at the top where it attaches, put tension on there, which puts slack here, and then slide the block, and then let go. You can see how nice and tight these are. And if you're camping for any period of time, you know, check those periodically because they do come loose. So now we're going to get to waterproofing the Rainfly. Top to bottom, I have what's left of the third can. Not much. Good thing I brought 4 cans. So, as you can see, it's all sealed now. I got as much as I can. You know, the discoloration from the water repellent is starting to go away as it dries. So, you know, you always learn the most important things the hard way. And one tip, I always keep 2 dollar store tablecloths, you know, in the bag with the tent. You know, I just roll them up, and you fold them up, they go down into nothing. They don't take any space. They don't weigh anything. And in the event something does happen, you know, a branch falls, something happens, hail, when you get a tear in your Rainfly, something like that, it's a $1 insurance policy that is going to keep water off of you temporarily. You know, like I said, 2 of these, you know, a $2 insurance policy, you know, you just put it up underneath the Rainfly, you tie it down, something, you know, just have to have a couple of these in your tent bag is always, you know, a cheap insurance policy. So it's been 24 hours. We've let it cure. There was rain in the forecast yesterday. As you can see, it doesn't seem like it's going to rain, so it looks like I'm going to have to make my own rain. Gonna make it rain. See how it looks. Hope you can see that. Looks pretty good. I would say that's definitely water resistant. It would stand up to a fairly decent rainfall. So here we are in the inside, checking the seams, make sure there's no dripping or anything, and now it looks great. So success on how to make your tent water resistant. Okay, so now it's time to break it down. It's a nice calm day here. There's no wind, which is always best. I mean, trying to break down a tent in the wind is a lot of work. So we're gonna take the rain fly off first. I usually take the rain fly, lay it out flat while I'm doing everything else, just in case there's any, residual moisture left from, the dew, the night, the morning, whatever, or if it's been raining. So we're gonna take the rain fly off first, pull it off, and then get to folding the tent. I'll just get to it real quick. The key is that you want to get the tent into a rectangular shape first, and then you fold it towards the center and then roll it up. All right, before you go ahead and break down everything, make sure all the doors are closed, zip shut, all the window flaps are zip shut. You want those nice and flat. Sweep out the tent, make sure there's no bugs, no anything on the inside or outside. You want to trap that stuff inside the tent while you store it. Okay, so now all the main structure's taken out, the poles are taken out, stakes are up. I left one stake in just to kind of keep it kind of steady from moving around while I was taking it apart. We'll take out that last stake and then we'll start to flatten it out. I've got a rag, towel, you want to wipe off any residual moisture from when you were camping. So we've got a real nice rectangle now, like I said, folding everything towards the middle, and then we're gonna fold it one more time and then start rolling it. There you go. Tent's all packed up, folded nicely. Should unpack, unroll really quickly, really nicely, really easily next time you gotta go camping. Now for the tarp and the rain fly, I follow the same procedure. Tarp's easy because it's already a rectangle. Fold it towards the middle, right? Then roll it. We're gonna do the same for the rain fly. So there you go, there's the rain fly. On this particular tent, I do not roll this because once the tent goes in the bag, I kind of put this around the side of the rolled up tent. This tent came with a bag for the stakes, right? Stakes are dirty, stakes are muddy. Keep those in the bag because again, you don't want that mud and dirt and whatever, sand getting stored along with your tent. When you get home, you can take them, clean them, whatever. If you don't want to clean them, you don't have to. They're tent stakes. So that's pretty much everything right there. So we've got the tent, the fly. The other stack over here is, this tent comes with room dividers and shelves, and that's all that, and the two tablecloths, the dollar store tablecloths I talked about earlier. So we're gonna get that all back in the bag, and mission accomplished. All right, and there it is. Everything's back in the bag. Everything's dried out, folded right, ready to go back into storage. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, subscribe down below, give me a like. It's easy, one click, right on the thumbs up. And we'll see you next time at Mr. Lucky's Workshop.